This week on It's Happening Out. Election update. It's Happening Out interviews the president. Big dick problems. Size may not matter after all. New Queen, new Streisand, new Spice Girls. Special guest Richard Gray. Special guest Aaron Phoenix. Special guest Joe Brookman. Featuring Napoleon Plays. DJ Diva Power Infinity. And Al Ferguson.
Welcome, America. We welcome you to It's Happening Out. We're coming to you live from the gayest place on planet Earth, Wilton Manors, Florida. We have a very exciting show, a very special post-election show tonight. Lots of interesting topics that we're going to talk about, lots of fun things that we're going to do through the show. Here's how the show works. First, we remind you that we're completely live, so you're going to see lots of mistakes. Napoleon is sitting next to me, and that probably will happen frequently.
I was not a mistake. How dare you?
Yeah, all right. So, we're live, and so you get to see everything in its live detail. We ask you to like us on Facebook and share this broadcast that you're watching right now on your personal page. Take out your Facebook on your mobile and share us so other people can see us. 150,000 of you are going to watch tonight. It's Happening Out, the most popular gay live talk show in America. Thank you. You're going to see a lot of new things here tonight as we come from Drink Bar on Wilton Drive here in Fort Lauderdale, and lots of exciting things we're going to talk about. Before we begin, of course, a serious topic. Happening live as we are speaking, everybody, on behalf of everybody at It's Happening Out, we reach out to all of those people that lost their lives, the families and friends at Thousand Oaks in the shooting. We've had another mass shooting in America. 13 people are dead, and our hearts go out to them. We're not really going to talk about the Thousand Oaks shooting tonight, except to say that Florida is with you, California. Florida is with you. And we tell you that California and the whole country was with us when we had our mass shooting in Orlando. And tonight, we're thinking about those at Thousand Oaks, but we're also thinking about those lost and affected at Pulse, and especially personally for me, Eddie Sotomayor. So, we are thinking about you tonight at Thousand Oaks and in California. Let's begin our program tonight. Everybody ready? We have lots of interesting things to talk about. First, our first topic, as we gave you in our tease in our opening package, is a hashtag that is trending around the country. It is called the 2020 View is 2020. And it's a perfect synopsis of our bird's eye view, our perfect clarity of our 2020 view is now turning our attention to 2020. Before we open our conversation of a kind of a recap of what we've watched this week, let's watch this video as you watch Beto O'Rourke in his concession speech, and we talk about the top 10 things that we saw at It's Happening Out in the midterm election on Tuesday. Watch this, it's quite interesting.
We offer our experience, and our perspective, and our courage, and our confidence on the issues that we know best as one half of the largest binational community anywhere in the Americas, joined with Ciudad Juarez to form something powerful, magical, and nothing to be afraid of or walled off or to apologize for. I want to make sure that this proud community offers all it has to give to this country and to our future and to ensuring that our greatest days are still ahead, and that the policy that we craft and the laws that we write and the way in which we treat each other comes not out of fear, it comes out of confidence and strength and this kind heart that I've always known El Paso to have. I want to thank this amazing campaign of people, not a dime from a single pack, all people, all the time, in every single part of Texas. All of you showing the country how you do this. I'm so fucking proud of you guys. Damning the differences and deciding that what unites us is far stronger than the color of our skin, how many generations we can count ourselves an American, or whether we just got here yesterday, who we love, who we pray to, whether we pray at all, who we voted for last time. None of that small stuff matters now. It is the greatness to which we aspire and the work that we're willing to put into it to achieve it, by which we will be known going forward. And this campaign holds a very special place in the history of this country every day going forward. And you have made that possible. I am forever changed in the most profoundly positive way. I am forever grateful to every single one of you for making this possible. I believe in you, I believe in Texas, I believe in this country.
Absolutely a beautiful concession speech, and it reminded me of the Navy Pier in 2008. A very young Senator Barack Obama coming to power. It was a very similar moment. So we've watched the election, and the midterms are complete. What does everybody think about what happened on Tuesday?
I mean, I hate to be the buzzkill again, but I mean, I feel like my outlook on it is maybe not quite as positive as O'Rourke's was in that speech. You know, I feel like this society is kind of, I hate to say it, but working exactly as it was always intended, which is not necessarily a good thing. You know, a lot of the results of this election, both in Florida and nationwide, still reflects, you know, a lot of racism, a lot of just antiquated ideas that are still affecting us today, that are still harming people today. And it's just been hard. It's been a rough week. It's been heartbreaking. And I'm shaking a little even talking about it, because it's just been, it's been exhausting to see just how far we haven't come.
I couldn't help but notice all week as we were preparing for the show, we even talked about maybe even doing an election edition. After Halloween, it was just too much for us to do it. We'll do it in the future. But I can't help but notice that I can't remember an election that was as personal for so many people that I looked at, that they had either great joy or great disappointment, and not really anything in the middle. And I think that's the point you're making.
Yeah.
Other thoughts about what
I feel so naive for having thought that there would be so much that so much of what has happened in the last 2 years, the atrocity that happened 2 years ago and 3 years ago, that it would be corrected somehow now. I feel as though I am somehow a fool for thinking something would be different right now than it was before. I was completely disheartened on Tuesday night. I don't want to believe in anything that happens anymore, and I know that there is change that can happen, that we can progress as a society, that we can be affected by what happens, but that's not what I've experienced in my lifetime, at least not as of yet, and I really hope that that does happen sometime in the future. I understand completely, Aaron.
I hear the sorrow in your voice of that observation, but we start with Beto O'Rourke's concession speech, where he says he only lost by 150,000 votes out of 8 million in Texas. I think what was so beautiful about his speech is he said, even in defeat, we are going to march on positively from this. How does O'Rourke's words affect you?
That's completely correct. It's just not what I can feel. It's not what I can muster within myself. It took everyone yesterday to try to tell me all of what I would consider positive things that happened from yesterday, and refocusing and highlighting all of what I would consider to be positive changes for me to even be able to get a smile on my face with what what happened on Tuesday. But I also live in Florida, and it's not just that our nation had a lot of change that happened within it. I live in Florida where it seems to have gotten even worse, where it's reversed in time. And that's, to be fair, a positive change happened out of it. I am now completely convinced that this is where I need to be, that this is the place for me to have a voice, for me to have a say, for me to experience what I can experience and impact other people, which is terrible and frightening, because now I feel even more of a spotlight on me to make sure that I can impact other people. But I am...
Meaning Florida being a principal battleground? Is that what you're saying?
Florida being a principal battleground, Florida really, being so split as it's theorized.
It's really interesting. In the video package that you just watched, we talked about losing our stars representing the Democratic Party. Nelson's gone, Gillum's gone, Abrams in Georgia is gone, O'Rourke in Texas is gone. But we also point out in that video package lots of great things happened. More than 400 gay candidates ran on Tuesday, and we had some big wins. We have the first Native American congressman coming. We have the first Muslim congressman coming. We have more than 100 women breaking the glass ceiling of Congress coming. And we had 4 governors that were LGBTQ plus that ran, including Texas, who came so close. 3.5 million Texans voted for a gay Texas governor. He didn't cross the finish line, but my goodness, that was so amazing. And history is made on Tuesday in the first openly gay governor in American history in Colorado. Yes. So we have a lot to be excited about.
And before we get into the specifics, I'm actually really curious, Joe, how do you feel coming off of Tuesday? Because your views vary more so than a lot of others on staff.
Let me. I'll start with Beto O'Rourke's speech, because I very much like the speech. The thing that struck me from the speech was, at least from my perspective, he was trying to get us to move from our tribalism to unity and collaboration. That it requires us, if we are going to work as a people group, as a community, as a nation, as Texas and the rest of the country, we have to not abandon our own tribes, but we have to abandon a level of tribalism and find ways to work together and collaborate if we're to make the country successful. And that's the biggest thing. Is I felt like he was saying, let's move away from some of the hysteria, right, and work more on talking about problems, not talking about people, right, and find solutions to problems.
Joe, I'm curious, and we're going to talk about our bet in a little bit, but not yet. But I'm curious. So you're in Washington, and the Republican National Committee. Tell us your experience on Tuesday, because it's completely different than everyone else here at the table. Tell us about your experience.
Even though you lost the House, let's not forget that.
What was it like?
It actually was a positive experience. I will say there were a lot of folks that were there that anticipated losing the House. It was hard-fought races. There was a lot of seats that were up for grabs where candidates chose not to go for re-election, and there weren't necessarily candidates to come up and or compete at a reasonable level. So
was the mood disappointed? Were they enthusiastic? What
the mood was still very enthusiastic. The thing is that when you have a divided government with the president and the Senate and the Congress, that's the recipe, honestly, to get the most collaborative work done, and it can be done.
I tell you, I watched again today the president's news conference yesterday at 11:30, and he went berserk on racism and a number of things he went berserk on. But he did bring me to a stop on one observation that he made that I thought was really incredible. He said, and of course he's spinning, but he spun the idea that having a Democratic House meant that now the Democrats would step up and say, here are ideas that we want to push through, like infrastructure. And now I have an ally in the Democrats, and we must negotiate to a conclusion. And actually, we will get more done in the next 2 years with the Democratic House. Setting aside his spin,
Setting
that
aside the
made
spin,
complete sense
but
to me.
history shows, especially around Newt Gingrich and the Clinton administration, that the most productive time during Clinton's reign or presidency was when they were divided House, when the Senate and the House were divided, and they were forced to come together and do some very good things.
And that's
for
why
the
we
country.
have checks and balances. That's why it's called that.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
And you didn't see our video package, but the number one thing from the Tuesday night is that we continue to have divided government. It was divided before, but now it's absolutely divided. Howard, any thoughts about Tuesday?
Well, first of all, to what Joe said, Clinton's presidency and his administration is certainly different from Trump's. So we'll have to see if the same magic can be replicated, because Trump ain't no Clinton.
Okay.
The other thing is that I wasn't actually very disappointed with Tuesday's results, and part of the reason why is because I actually expected the results to be as they were. I was disappointed in Florida because I do say, and I say what I say, that Florida's election results still reflect racist and bigoted views. And, I was very hopeful that Andrew Gillum would win, but I wasn't surprised that he didn't, and I didn't really expect him to. Florida is still, well, Florida always fucks it up. However, I also looked at the national race. So on the state level, we didn't do very well. But nationally, we won the House. And that's a big deal. And we need to celebrate that, because now there is checks and balance. Now there is oversight, and now there is going to be some type of oversight when it comes to the president and when it comes to the Senate as well.
Yeah.
So I am happy about that, and I am going to take my joys and count my blessings where they come.
If Howard, it was actually your post about exactly that kind of got me to pick my shoulders up off the floor this week after everything that went down, because I really was feeling kind of, like you said, not exactly surprised, but still disappointed.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I read your post, I was like, all right, girl, you're right. At least we got something. And Amendment 4 passed. So, voting restoration for felons in Florida.
By the way, we include that in the video package. Amendment 4 in Florida restored voting rights to 1.5 million ex-felons in Florida. So in the next election, they are allowed to vote.
And they might be the 1% that flips us right to where we need to go.
I'm not going to call him out, but I'm not going to call him out, but I have a very special friend here tonight in the audience who this applies to, and I'm very, very happy that he will be able to vote in the next election, even though he is a criminal junkie. Just kidding.
Right.
Just kidding.
I'm curious. One last thing that I want to talk about on the election and the midterms. First off, if you haven't watched the president's press conference, he took personal credit for Florida. He took personal credit for the defeat of Nelson and personal credit for the defeat of Gillum, and in Georgia took personal credit specifically calling President Obama and Oprah Winfrey out that he did a better job to have the Republican candidate win in Georgia, which I thought was incredible. President Trump has declared Florida as his home state, and so that's interesting.
Well, you know what else is interesting? You know what else is interesting is that while he can take a victory lap for all the races that were won, I noticed he's not taking a walk of shame for the House.
Yeah.
He's very I'll take credit for this, but that's on you. No, bitch, you got to take credit for all of it.
Wow.
We don't watch that very much.
I think he recognized and acknowledged that with what time he could be out stumping for candidates, those that he could reach were the Senate candidates, and there were so many congressional candidates that were up that there's no way he, as the president, with everything that's going on, could hit all of those regions. And he understood that, and understood that it was likely we would lose the House.
One last point that I think is interesting. With all the racism comments and what happened in Florida, is anyone still surprised that perhaps the LGBT plus community, Q plus community, is not really the target of the politics in America, that it is really other minorities?
Yeah, because gay people are racist too.
Well, bigotry and racism walk hand in hand. You know, first of all, we have this governor-elect, Ron DeSantis, all right, who
Nightmare.
Okay, so first of all, not only, along with the fact that he associates with right-wing extremists and racists, and the racists love him to death. They put out robocalls, you know, against Gillum. But forget about the people of color for a second. As far as the LGBT community, do you guys know that, I mean, he stumped and did a event with a guy by the name of, let me get this right here, Hanny. A guy by the name of Raymond Jackson, who I never heard of before. Raymond Jackson is an anti-LGBT activist who has spent years railing against the gay community. And he actually claimed that gay leaders were using the Pulse massacre as a way to spread our, and I quote, radical homosexual agenda.
I remember that.
But DeSantis thought that it was cute and it was choice to be associating with him and in fact stumping with him at a rally. So my thing is, I don't want a leader or a governor to represent me in government who finds it okay to, you know, hang around and associate with people like this. It's reflective of him and his views.
So let me ask you, just to counterbalance that, how do you feel about Louis Farrakhan and Barack Obama and the others who keep company and bring Louis Farrakhan around? He has no love lost for the LGBT community at all, okay? He's been anti-Jewish. He is one of the most racist individuals I've ever met. But so many in the Democrat community bring Louis Farrakhan along and nobody says anything.
Well, when has Obama asked Louis Farrakhan to share a stage with him in some type of rally or something? You know, him knowing
he actually has.
Huh?
He actually has.
When?
No, he does not.
When?
Well, we'll go look it up. But I've seen him.
Now I don't. Let me tell you,
okay.
since you asked me a question about Louis Farrakhan, right is right and wrong is wrong. So I don't give a damn if it's Louis Farrakhan or Kunta Kinte. If you saying racist or bigoted shit, I'm to call you out. Louis Farrakhan, for all that he's done for black people, he's still wrong as fuck when he talks the way that he talks. And I'm gonna say.
And I agree. I agree. Yeah,
I'm gonna say it. So if Obama, and one thing about me is I can, and I have disagreed with things that Obama has done. I don't care who it is. Right is right and wrong is wrong. So if Obama did that, I would say, Obama, you were wrong. Just like I would hope that you could say the same about DeSantis.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Okay.
If he brought somebody on stage that had those views, then I would agree with you on that.
Okay, well that's a positive. I'm going to interrupt there. That's a positive note. We're, of course, it's going to be, the title of this segment is The View is 2020 for 2020. And of course, this is going to be a centric issue for us, and we'll continue to do it. At the heart of this is the President of the United States. And we were very excited this week when we had the honor at It's Happening Out to have an interview. And I was able to go to the White House and the White House lawn and interview the President. And before we talk about it briefly, watch the interview. Watch this. Mr. President, thank you very much for being with us today. I'm Al from It's Happening Out. You haven't talked to the gay community very much in the last 2 years, so we appreciate this opportunity to be here at the White House. You know, at our show, we have many viewers that have asked questions that they've liked to ask you, and we've brought them today. So again, thank you very much for having us. Mr. President, let's begin. Are you a good person?
I took some beautiful pictures in which I had a big smile on my face. I looked very happy. I looked very content. I looked like a very nice person, which in theory I am.
Mr. President, are you special?
The beauty of me is that I'm very rich.
Mr. President, the Duchess of Cambridge has recently been in the news. Do you like Princess Kate?
Who wouldn't want to take Kate's picture and make lots of money if she were to do the nude sunbathing thing? Come on, Kate!
Mr. President, is there any value at all to humility?
I think I'm actually humble. I think I'm much more humble than you would understand.
Mr. President, some people in the gay community think you're kind of dumb. Are you?
I'm intelligent. Some people would say I'm very, very, very intelligent.
Congratulations, Napoleon plays Mr. President, and it was very entertaining.
I'm not sure it's my honor, Al.
Now, the joke of the bit is these are actually the president's words, absolutely word for word his words. We come back to the closure of the politics of the president and the midterm elections by talking about the bet. The bet. First off, I had a bet with Joe, and our bet has been going on. We had an agreement that at 11 o'clock on Tuesday night, he was going to be in Washington, I was going to be here in Wilton Manors. We would call the loser of the bet, and our bet was that I bet that the Democrats would take either the House or the Senate or both. And Joe said no, that Republicans were going to increase their seats in the House, increase their seats in the Senate, and the Democrats wouldn't take control. You lost, Joe. You lost.
I did.
The convenience six one.
Our bet was absolutely the over-the-top restaurant in South Florida. So now I'm going to bring a film crew with me and grind into Joe's bones that I'm drawing the log cabin Republican into the restaurant and paying for the dinner, and it's going to be the most delicious dinner I've ever had in my life. Thank you very much, Joe.
You are welcome. I eat a lot.
Now, let me tell you our second bet. On live television, Napoleon did a bet of his circle of friends, including the cast of It's Happening Out in production, and said that he was challenging everyone to be, not to be, the last person to vote. And if you were the last person to vote in our circle, you had to buy pizza for everybody. Well, tonight, that bet is being actuated. But guess who is buying the pizza? The person that made the bet challenge. Napoleon Plays lost the bet.
I wasn't
He was the last person to vote. And so tonight, compliments of Napoleon Plays, the very handsome Jason Moreno is bringing our bet win before us. We're going to have some pizza tonight.
The diet pizza.
This is the.
This is the gluten-free for the one who can't eat the pizza that he bought. It's fine.
Is this also from the highest end restaurant in the...
No, you can just, it doesn't matter.
They're going to be buying me an expensive dinner. You can have at least a piece of
And some
pizza.
napkins. And Jason, thank you. We hope to have you around a lot.
Of course, anytime.
Absolutely.
All right, great. All right. Next up, we want to talk a little bit about Fort Lauderdale and Broward County. We have done an interesting interview with Richard Gray, the Vice President of Sunny.org, and that's the Greater Fort Lauderdale tourism arm. And so we'd like to have you watch this. Our guest, Richard Gray.
My name is Richard Gray, and I'm a Vice President with the Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau, and I'm very proud to say that I oversee the LGBT plus market. My personal mission for Greater Fort Lauderdale is to embrace diversity and inclusion. Simple. Embrace diversity and inclusion. For me, it's really important not only to educate the LGBT plus community about diversity and inclusion, but to educate not only our allies, but the mainstream community. We are the only CVB, the only Convention and Visitors Bureau in the world that has a designated department whose sole responsibility is to develop and grow LGBT tourism. So we've been focusing on markets that are very, very important to this destination. Brazil, Colombia, the UK, Germany, Canada. These are big international markets for us that have big LGBT communities that love to come to Greater Fort Lauderdale. They are free to be themselves. They have an amazing nightlife in Wilton Manors. They can go shopping to Sawgrass Mills. They can go to Sebastian Beach, to the gay beach. I mean, there's a multitude of things to do here. As a government agency, our mandate is to develop and grow tourism into this county, all tourism. And I think that's very important. We work very, very closely with the private sector, with the marine industry, with the hospitality industry. But our function is to promote Greater Fort Lauderdale into a warm, welcoming destination. Last year, we allocated over $1 million to grow LGBT tourism. And on the back of that, this destination welcomed over 1.5 million LGBT travelers from all over the world who spent $1.5 billion, yes, that's B with a billion, dollars in this economy. I mean, it's good for business. So I'm really, really excited to say that Greater Fort Lauderdale is going to be the host city for the first ever Pride of the Americas in April of 2020. And we're expecting over 350,000 people to come to this event. Last year, we launched a new campaign. We put our heads together and we came up with our new campaign called Greater Together, because Greater Fort Lauderdale is a destination that welcomes everybody, irrespective of the color of your skin, irrespective of your religion, irrespective of who you love or how you choose to identify. And we are greater together. We're smarter together and we're greater together. As they say on this amazing show, Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale is the gayest place on planet Earth.
This is a great community, Broward County, Florida, and Wilton Manor. Before we say anything, your experience here in Wilton and Fort Lauderdale, what is that?
It's really interesting because I've actually lived in this area specifically the longest, and it took me a very long time to even identify as a Floridian. But after understanding some of what the culture is here and experiencing what I have here versus in other locations, there really is a certain type of magic that comes from being around people that understand who you are. Even if everything isn't hunky-dory story, even if everything is not a rainbow over the sky, there are still enough positives about living with people that understand who you are, in terms of at least being a gay man, if nothing else, that does make it an accepting place to be. And I do appreciate that about Wilton Manors quite a lot.
We asked Richard, before we move on, we asked Richard to do this interview package with us, and we did it before the election. And an interesting thing happened that I want to bring to your attention. This is a really tremendous gay community. Richard brings to our attention that Broward County in general, Fort Lauderdale, and certainly Wilton Manors is a minority-majority community. That is a new phrase that I have learned. I like that. Minority-majority community, which is wonderful in diversity, to your point. On Tuesday, something really special happened, and CNN did a breaking news alert yesterday about this. Wilton Manors, Florida, in the CNN breaking news, announced that it became the first city in Florida history where the entire city commission was made up in its election of LGBTQ plus representatives. First time ever. Wilton Manors became only the second city in American history to accomplish that, and the first was Palm Springs. So congratulations, Fort Lauderdale. We're going to move on and play a game called This and That. Everybody knows the game. It's fun. We give a choice of selecting two things in our choice. This or that. All right, everybody know how the game plays. We played it. Let's do this or that. All right, question number one. Getting clean. This, a nice hot shower, or that, a relaxing bubble bath?
Oh, I'm
Relaxing
definitely.
bubble bath.
A bubble bath? Joe, really?
Believe it or not.
You take bubble baths? Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Giving him material for later, Joe. Jeez.
Hot shower or a bubble bath?
I'm definitely a hot shower type, and I will stay in there all day if you let me.
Hot shower.
If the goal is to get clean, then a bath is not going to do that. A shower, a shower, a shower.
Question number two, this or that. Fun sex partners. This, blondes have more fun, or that. You're not blonde, girl.
I am tonight.
Ginger.
Does the carpet match the drapes?
It does. Tonight.
All right, this, blondes have more fun, or that, wild redhead.
Yes, ginger. Ginger, 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 ginger. Yes. Yes.
All right.
Clear.
Wild redheads.
Brunettes.
I've never been with a redhead, so I'm gonna have to find out. Do we have one in the audience who can give me a little?
And
Well, so I don't get in trouble with my husband, who is blonde. I'll say blonde.
all right. Question number three of this or that. The most satisfying election result on Tuesday. This, the defeat of Scott Walker of Wisconsin, or the defeat of Kansas Representative Chris Kozach.
Who?
Yes.
Scott Walker. I don't know who the other one is, but Scott Walker.
All right.
I'm same.
Scott Walker made a big impact.
All right. Now I can't wait.
I can't say delighted.
You
that-
have to.
This or
That's
that.
how you play the
Or
game.
that.
Kansas.
Kansas. Okay. Cool.
They're both great, though.
Question
It's true.
four,
That's what he's
this or
thinking.
that. The most disappointing election result on Tuesday. Beto O'Rourke or Andrew Gillum?
Andrew Gillum. Definitely Andrew Gillum for me.
Personally, it has to be Gillum. We live here. Let's relive this.
Left?
God.
Do I get a third choice?
No.
Because this
This
is
or
a
that.
loaded question. You got to ask
It
me
is, and
bad
I'm right.
or
Once
bad.
Once again, the Republican can't
Bad
play
or
by the
bad?
rules.
This
Right.
or that?
They're both terribly saddening. I understand.
Beto O'Rourke or Andrew Gillum?
Andrew Gillum only because that directly affected me.
Which was most disappointing?
Please choose.
Most disappointing?
This or that?
Beto.
Beto O'Rourke. Interesting. I'm going to agree with Joe, Beto O'Rourke. I think he is probably the future of America.
So do I.
I do. Fifth question, this or that. Sketch comedy. This, Mad TV, or that, Saturday Night Live?
Oh, Mad TV. Hands down, Mad TV.
Saturday Night Live.
Saturday.
Yeah, I think Saturday Night Live was a lot smarter comedy.
I can't wait to be on SNL.
All right. Mad TV. I love
Absolutely,
Mad TV.
I love Mad TV.
Question 6, this or that. Talented gay singers. This, Freddie Mercury, or that, George Michaels?
Oh,
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury.
Really?
Freddie Mercury. I love
Which one?
Freddie Mercury.
Being that I was a Freddie Mercury impersonator for a while, that's one of my absolute all-time heroes.
You wait, you impersonated as public performance Freddie Mercury?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, actually, at
I've seen video
Powers
of that.
Queen of the Night, the first time I ever did it, I was Freddie Mercury.
Okay,
Yeah.
did you win?
I did not, but I made a hell of an impression.
But he won eventually.
I did.
All right. Freddie or George?
I would say that George Michael is a legend, but Freddie Mercury is an icon. So Freddie Mercury.
Choose. Faster. Choose.
George Michael. I know, I can't not let myself down without the choice.
You have to
George
understand,
Michael.
he's the youngest on the panel.
George
so-
Michael is one of the most beautiful men to ever walk the earth.
That wasn't a
Question number
question.
7. This or that.
That one hurt a lot. I understand your pain.
Mythical figure you call daddy. From Greek mythology, Zeus, or from Norse mythology, Odin? Zeus or Odin? You want to call him daddy.
There's only one that produced Thor. So let's go with Odin.
Odin?
I'm gonna have to say Odin. Zeus was a player and a cheater and a liar, and I don't have time for that.
Zeus.
Wasn't Odin Anthony Hopkins?
Yes.
No, Zeus. Zeus. Yes. I'm not calling Anthony
Howard's
Hopkins daddy.
history is all pop culture movie related. Wasn't George Washington really? All right.
Zeus.
Last question, this or that. We prefer our men. We prefer our men. This, clean shaven, or that, a beard.
Beard!
I am clean shaven. I will vote for that.
I mean, why can't it be scruff? Why can't it be a little bit of
this
because
or
it's this or
that.
that?
That's
Because
why.
it's this or that. Oh my God, the people
Because a
with
lot
the
of men are
beards are over
attractive.
here signaling like they're gonna jump me if I don't.
This or that.
Tonight a beard.
A beard?
A beard, a ginger with a beard.
I'm going to recuse myself from this question.
Oh, no, you're not. This or that.
It's whichever your husband is. We
We'll
know
stop
that.
the show for this answer.
I don't know. A beard for Alex's sake.
Beard. All right. All right. That is our game, this or that. Now, moving on. Let's talk about something that's been in the news this week. We call it big dick problems. In the gay community, there is a Reddit group in Reddit, and it's humongous. And the Reddit group and
You did that on purpose,
articles-
didn't you?
And from the
Can I hear a
Reddit
huge from you?
a survey, an article has
China.
appeared talking about big dick problems. And it caught my attention because we have talked about the issue of what the gay community wanted in terms of size and what was actual statistical fact. So the survey says, and this very large number of members group in Reddit talks about all of the problems of size, both in terms of the person of size and the recipient of size. So, what do you think about big dick problems?
Well, I think it proves that, once again, proves that big dick energy is better than actual large penis reality. I'm just saying, it's a lot more important. It's a lot more important. As, you know, everybody wants to claim that the actual large genitalia is the be-all, end-all, but clearly it's not. Clearly it's not. So.
Well, the first problem that I see with it, that I've experienced, is that it can be harder for people to get it up, and that's the number one problem. I don't care what
Speak
anyone
for
else has to say.
yourself.
No. I don't know. No. There's a lot of people, I promise you, that have a difficult time getting it up if it is longer because it takes more blood flow.
I don't have any trouble helping somebody get anything up. So.
I know, because you're great, but it's still.
I happen to know
But you
because
are
I've
great.
watched the videos. The famous adult entertainer Antonio Biaggi is in the room, and he has no problem at all getting it up. Just saying.
Oh, you didn't mean my videos. Okay.
Right.
That was a challenge.
To piggyback off that, I got 99 problems, but my big dick ain't one. I'm not worried about it.
So another problem is the toilet, and if you sit down, a soggy dick is terrible. A soggy dick is worse than a sloppy bottom. Nobody wants that. It's a problem. Okay, sitting on the toilet and having that happen is disgusting. Then you have to take apparently a hot bath to
You
get
know,
that done.
when we were forecasting this topic, I didn't envision that anybody would bring it to that level. So think about that.
We're here to be real with America. Okay.
All right. Other problems or observations that people want to make about big dick problems? Do we think it's a problem, or is it just something to talk about?
Not at all.
Personally, I think that's fake news.
I just want to share with America. I'm just telling you.
Fake news.
You don't have the ability to understand what we're talking about. But we always joke that the sixth host of our show, and it's happening out, is the audience in the bar. And the audience in the bar is kind of going wild over big dicks. And
I stand by my statement before. It's more important for it to be pretty.
all right.
Ugly big dick is gross.
Yes. Sorry. Okay. All right. Let's move on from the Reddit group. Check it out. There's this very gigantic group on Reddit about big dick problems. Let's move on to a game that we played called Tell Me Something I Didn't Know. Tell me something this week that I didn't know.
I learned this week that in Australia, you get fined if you don't vote. That is absolutely fascinating. I think it's something that we need to employ here, apparently. People in the bar that didn't vote. I know that was none of you, I'm just kidding.
Anybody else? Tell me something I didn't know.
Well, I found out that there have been 297, well, counting last night, 298 shootings in the U.S. so far.
This year.
This year, in 2018.
Oh, gosh,
there have been nearly as many U.S. mass shootings as days in 2018. Some of the people in last night's shooting were actually at the Las Vegas shooting.
Oh, wow.
So that's something that we didn't know. Also, something that a lot of people might not know or might not realize, we need comprehensive, common sense gun control.
Yes.
Thank you. That's a really good note. And we're going to excuse Power in a moment because we're going to play a new game. So we'll pay attention to the sound, and you can go on over to your set to get ready. Tell me something I didn't know. Anything else?
Pass it on to this one over here. Because I got totally distracted by those statistics, honestly.
I actually had prepared something you don't know, but it actually goes with the next segment that Power is going to do.
Okay.
So I'll turn it over to Napoleon, and I'll come up with something
I just
different.
said mine about Australia, but if you need to take the attention off of Power in the next segment, I want to hear what she has to say about you when we get to you. So we'll take that.
Oh boy, something I didn't know, that apparently it's not nice to use the F-bomb about your castmates on social media. Can we go with that?
Okay. All right.
I did apologize. Love you both.
What Aaron is referring to is this week we had a dust-up over the election, and the host got into a discussion in Facebook, and Aaron used the F-bomb.
God forbid. But somehow I wasn't banned from Facebook and told that it was, inflammatory speech, the way that Power frequently is.
Yes,
So
that's true. All right. We're going to move on, and we're going to play another new game, and it's called Power Infinity's Stereotypical. And I'm going to turn it over to Power.
Hello America, hello children. Okay, so we are here. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So we are here. We are going to kind of conduct an experiment where we pit perception versus reality. It's called stereotypical, and basically what we're going to do is I'm going to ask a few people to give me a stereotype about them that people expect, that people think about them that's actually true. Then I want you to give me a stereotype about you that's not true, or you could do it in whatever order you want. So right now, let's start with Connor. Hey girl, how are you? A round of applause. Okay, so Connor, tell me, what about you is a stereotype that people may think is true and is, and what about, tell me a stereotype that is not true.
Okay, so I grew up in the country, grew up in Plant City, Florida, country as hell.
All right.
All right from Plant City. I've always been known as the effeminate one. People think because I'm effeminate that I like the arts, I like painting, I like all of the girly things, but I actually am a fanatic when it comes to kayaking, mountain climbing. I love camping. I actually love watching sports. I love football, obsessed with football.
Wow.
So that's something that not a lot of people understand when they hear my voice. They're like, oh. So that's something. But one of the things that is true is because I am effeminate, I am a total power bottom and single. So
Work. Well, okay, so I'm going to challenge you. Do I even need this mic? Because I'm already mic'd up.
No, you give it up.
Okay, so I'm going to challenge you on something. So you said that one of the stereotypes is that people think that because you're effeminate that you like painting and stuff like that. But that's actually almost kind of true because you do paint. You just paint in a different way. Tell us about that.
So I actually am a body painter. I body painted for Halloween Horror Nights. I body painted for Fashion Weeks, actually in Miami. I body painted for Fantasy Fest in the Keys. So I actually am a fanatic when it comes to doing art. I believe I also do drag. So I get in the gig once in a while. I do that because I believe that it is an expression. I believe that it is a character, and the hyperfeminism is something that people need to understand, that you don't have to sit there and be a certain way to understand that you can gender bend any kind of role that you want to do, and you should be able to accept and love the fact that you can be whatever gender you want to be and be proud of it.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
And Connor is actually a beautiful boy, but the fact that he does paint puts him in a different category. So we don't call him trade, we call him Trish. Trish. That's when you trade, but still a little bit fish. Trish. All right, well, thank you very much, Connor. So the next person that I'm going to, and I'm very excited about this. So Al just referred to the one that doesn't have, has a big dick but doesn't have big dick problems. This is the porn star extraordinaire, Antonio Biaggi. How are you, darling?
I do have a problem.
You do have a problem?
Yeah. I talk, what he said, I talk about the toilet problem. That's actually a serious problem. I swear to God.
If we're all being honest, it's probably happened to all of us. Well, maybe not all of us, but okay. So tell us a stereotype about you that people expect, maybe because you're a porn star, maybe for whatever people expect about you, and that is true, and one that's not true.
Okay, I think because I'm a porn star, I think a lot of people think I have a lot of sex constantly all the time, but it's not true. I barely have sex actually. I do have sex with my husband, but a lot of people get intimidated with me. So a lot of people are like, oh, like they want to, but when it comes to the time, they're like, oh no. They
Really?
get afraid. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, before we go to what is actually true, that's actually a stereotype that I would expect and that I would think also that A, because you're a porn star, that you have a lot of sex. B, I also would think that for me it might be a little intimidating to have sex with a porn star because they know how to do it so well, or so the stereotype is, that they have so much sex that they know they probably wear your ass out.
Good idea.
Okay, so that's the stereotype that is not true. Give us a stereotype about you that is true.
I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm loud. That's for sure.
The loudness of Puerto Rican.
I could be a little loud, like a little crazy, yeah.
Do you find that a lot of Puerto Ricans do fit that stereotype?
At least my friends, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, honey. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? I noticed my friend I noticed my friend who was sitting here, he scooch out of this area because he didn't want me to call him up. I'm just gonna call up one more person. Mama, could you please come here?
I'll go halfway.
Okay. Oh, you want to come up? Oh, girl, you just. Hey, honey. Okay. Well, I called for Mama, but another Mama came up, so I'm not mad about it. Yeah, okay.
You are gorgeous, by the way.
Well, thank you. Yes. The stereotype is that I wake up this way, but trust me. Okay, so what is your name?
It's Lenora.
Lenora, that's a beautiful name.
Thank you.
So give us one stereotype about you that is true, and one stereotype about you that's not true.
Well, I'm from New York City, so a stereotype about me, thank you, that is true is that I'm kind of a no-nonsense kind of girl.
Work.
Yes. I do not suffer fools.
At all.
At all. Yes.
Happy ball.
That is it.
That's right.
Yes.
All right.
And a stereotype about me that is not true is that, I guess because of YouTube videos, they see and they think, well, you know, a black woman that looks like me is like always ready to fight or whatever. But I'm very genteel, very mild-mannered, very congenial.
So you're not the angry black woman?
Absolutely not, unless you make me so.
Okay. So how do you juxtapose? Yes, juxtapose. Right. Whatever. How do you manage to be a no-nonsense bitch, if I may, with all respect, a no-nonsense bitch, but still very genteel, very, tranquila?
Yes, tranquila. I try to operate with a lot of patience, compromise, and consideration with dealing with people, but also assertive and kind of pick my battles.
Right. Amen. This is a girl out of my own heart, honey. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, well, this is Power Infinity. You have been watching Power Infinity's Stereotypical. Tune in.
I think very interesting because in the world that we live, the game that we play is that our stereotyping is really a big issue, and I applaud you in terms of pursuing that. We want to move on and talk about what happened this week with Barbra Streisand. Barbra Streisand did several incredible things this week. First off, Barbra Streisand recorded a robocall for the LGBT community, and we want you to hear the robocall. If you got one of these calls, it's quite exciting. Listen to this.
Hi, this is Barbra Streisand. Tuesday is a critical election for LGBTQ people and all marginalized communities. And I'm working with GLAAD to help ensure the largest turnout ever of LGBTQ and ally voters in a midterm election. Tomorrow, I hope you will join me at the polls to send a strong message that America is better when we stand together. Go to GLAAD.org/vote. That's GLAAD.org/vote to get information about how to vote in your state. And let's make history together.
It really was an awesome moment. And remember, Barbra Streisand taking the time reaching out specifically to our community, I think was quite significant. As I mentioned at the top of the show, more than 400 LGBTQ plus candidates ran on Tuesday, so very valuable. The second thing that Barbra Streisand did this week, which was really interesting, is she released a brand new music video. And the music video is really breathtaking. The music video was completely written by Barbra Streisand, produced by Barbra Streisand, directed by Barbra Streisand, starred Barbra Streisand. In other words, typical Barbra Streisand. The music video is called Don't Lie to Me, and it is a complete call out of the world that we are watching. Let's move on to our segment called Headlines. Several big headlines in the news besides the big ones that we've already talked about. First is Kim Davis. A very interesting thing happened. Remember, Kim Davis was the clerk of court in Kentucky who made international headlines in 2015 for refusing to issue a marriage certificate to a gay couple. She decided that she wouldn't do it under the authority not given to her by the electorate in her county in Kentucky, but under the authority of God. She ran for re-election as clerk in her county on Tuesday and was soundly defeated by the Democratic candidate. I read a quotation from, and CNN covered the announcement, which was very unusual to have a national news network cover a clerk of court's acceptance speech. And Elwood Caldwell, who said Tuesday night, I quote, "When I say I will faithfully execute the job of Rowan County Clerk and serve all citizens equally, of course, that means all LGBTQ plus citizens." Congratulations, Rowan County, for what you did. Big news headline.
It's an area that is known for being particularly progressive, particularly in Appalachia. So for it to have gotten such bad press with her in the past, it's nice for it to get the positive press that it's getting now. I shout out to that area immensely. Like kudos.
Any other
so
thoughts
hard.
about Kim Davis?
Yes.
Yeah.
Scoochie scooch.
Hello.
Other headlines in the news, a little bit lighter. A big movie started this week, and of course, the movie with Freddie Mercury, Bohemian Rhapsody. Let us show you a little tiny bit of Bohemian Rhapsody. Watch this. I've been so busy since the movie started this weekend. I haven't seen it yet. Any of you seen Bohemian Rhapsody yet?
Not yet.
Not yet?
It's on my
None of us. We all want to see it, though,
This
right?
weekend.
Yeah, it's
All right,
exciting.
so the last one to do that, and pizza. No, I've learned my lesson, I promise.
I'm not eating any more gluten-free pizza, by the way, dude. Your bet wasn't worth it, I'm just saying. We can't wait to see Freddie Mercury and Bohemian Rhapsody. One last thing in the headlines that was really particularly exciting to me this week. It rivaled the midterm elections. There was a secret announcement on Monday night, and it was breathtaking. On ITN in Britain, the Spice Girls announced their new world tour. We're showing you a picture of it. I want to go. What do y'all think about the Spice Girls? First off, wait, before you say, Posh said no. It's 4. Posh is not doing it.
I agree with her. I wouldn't want to leave David Beckham's side either. I understand that mentality.
David Beckham.
Moment for that.
Wait, thought bubble, David Beckham.
So I get that mentality.
Yeah.
But shame on her for not giving us all what we need.
Anybody really excited or really hate the Spice Girls?
I mean, I don't think about the Spice Girls often, honestly.
Your gay card is withdrawn.
I guess you could take mine too, because...
Oh, your gay card is
Be the only
withdrawn.
one.
If you say it, the next week's show is going to include just 2 guys. That's it.
My
Spice Girls were a
soul is
lesbian
burning
thing.
a little
Like-
bit. I feel like
no.
Michael got to me.
All right.
I'm looking forward to
Okay. Well, the Spice Girls are coming summer of 2019. Can't wait. All right. We're getting ready to play Drinks Drink. And it's a fun game that we do. And we are going to have our drinks any moment, I'm assuming. And Jason Moreno, who is with us right off set, our lovely gentleman that served our pizza is coming, and we're going to play Drinks Drink. Now, as we begin, watch this in terms of Drinks Drink.
Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Frank. I'm coming to you from drink, which is the hottest place in Fort Lauderdale. It's on the Drive. What we do here is we make a lot of craft cocktails. So for you today, I want to make a strawberry ginger martini. It's going to be fresh strawberries, ginger, a little candy ginger on the top. We have Canton, which is it's a liqueur from France, and then it's going to be made with Tito's. So first we want to take some strawberries, muddle them up, and we use a ginger puree, which is nice fresh ginger. It's got a little spice to it, a little squeeze. And then we want to use the Domaine de Canton, I believe. It's French. What I want to do is you want to break that up a little bit. Ice your glass. We're going to be using Tito's, which is a nice gluten-free vodka. Let's say about a 3 or 5 count. Let's do a 5 count in that. We got your Canton. So you want to shake that up really good. Take your martini glass. Beautiful little garnish. Candied ginger, the strawberry, and hope that your count is right. Otherwise, you're in trouble with the boss. This is actually one of my favorite cocktails. So if you come in and you say, Frank, I want your favorite cocktail, I know exactly what to make. Boom. Enjoy.
So welcome back to Drink String. I have to thank Jason Moreno. I don't know how I was disadvantaged by sitting in the middle of the table because I wish I was sitting where you're sitting.
It's one of the few times in life you've been disadvantaged. You'll be okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jason. We appreciate you delivering our drinks. Here's how it works. Drink is an agree or disagree game. I'm going to ask a question. If you agree, you pick up your glass and drink. If you disagree, you just don't touch your drink at all. Everybody know our rules? Here we go. First question, drink. I am really glad the election is over.
Yes! Oh, yes! I'm so happy.
What was that?
That is delicious.
That is
Ginger
really
in.
good.
Is there ginger in that?
Oh.
No, the ginger.
Question 2, drink. I am
Yeah.
disappointed in the election results.
Yes. Disappointed in Florida. Disappointed in fucking Florida.
Not surprised, but disappointed.
That's why we have the extra one, folks.
Question 3, drink. I believe that the country will be better in 10 years. Oh, please, God, I hope.
What an upsetting question, Al. Thank you.
And you do not think it will be?
I do not. I would love to be positive about it. I just have to be realistic about it as well.
Napoleon's younger than you? Or are you younger than Napoleon?
He's barely younger than you.
I'm
Don't
the
let him
youngest
fool
one
you.
here.
The
Let's
question,
okay,
okay, so this or that, yes, this is younger than you. It's interesting to me that the youngest guy on the panel, is not optimistic about where we will be 10 years from now. That's interesting to me.
Y'all ruined it for me.
Okay,
You old people.
question 4, drink. I get enough sleep at night.
No, I don't.
Of course, you get beauty sleep. Girl.
Really? You do?
Y'all know about my 9 o'clock.
Now wait, here's a funny thing. Let me lead a clue in. When we started this show, I read a Facebook post and I am instructed, you are to never speak to me at 9:01 p.m. because I'm in bed. Power Infinity's in bed at 9 o'clock. All right, good. Okay, question 5 of drink. I am afraid of the dark.
The dark is where the best thing.
Are you really? Well, you know what the boogeymen's are in the dark closet.
No, it's because he's newly gay.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay. All right.
You'll learn the fun, I promise.
Question.
It's a childhood thing.
Question 6. I'm really curious about this one. Drink. Question 6. Cuddling can be better than sex.
Oh, yeah.
It can be.
Barkeep.
Y'all all tease me about being raised a girl, and yet y'all are all the colors.
Oh!
Just saying.
Oh, we have
saying.
just been schooled there.
Aaron, I don't conform to gender stereotypes in that way, but that's all
Clearly.
right.
Oh! There's a soundbite I'm going to watch tomorrow. Touche. All right. Question 7. Drinks drink. I feel bad.
Oh God.
For Jeff Sessions.
I don't feel bad at all.
I don't.
You don't feel bad for him?
Not at all.
And you don't feel bad for him because you never liked him, or?
I liked him, but he hasn't done his job.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Question. None of us feel bad for him. Question 8. Well, all I got to say is, Jeff, pack your bags and go home to Alabama, because we never want to hear from you again. All right. Question number 8. Drinks drink. I am looking forward to Thanksgiving this year. You don't celebrate?
Y'all colonized my homeland. No, I don't celebrate. Your border crossed us, and I'm supposed to have a turkey for it? Come on. Plus, I'm vegetarian, so I mean...
Any reason to eat is a good reason.
That's true.
Well,
all right. Question number 9. Drinks drink. Not only do I remember my New Year's resolution, I am making progress on my New Year's resolution. Wow.
I can't remember what mine was.
I don't make New Year's resolutions. I make daily resolutions.
That's a good philosophy. Okay, our last question. Question number 10 of Drinks Drink. We talk all the time about my philosophy. I'm gay, I hug. So therefore, if that's true, I have hugged a lot of people in the last month. Have you hugged a lot of people?
We can call it hugging. Not bad.
Y'all haven't?
No.
No. All right.
I'm a smother you later.
Actually, less than you.
Yeah, that's true.
From
Southerners.
across the room, hey girl.
Hey girl. All right. Or Scoochy Scooch.
Right.
One or the other. All right. That's our fun game, Drinks Drink. We hope you play with us at home. All right. That brings this special post-midterm election show to an end. We thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we remind you that we hope you share us and you let people know that there is a real live gay talk show that's talking about more things than just dicks, drama, and
dicks.
Right, exactly. Wait, I think this martini is going to my head already.
It's really good.
It's really good.
No, I'm already drunk and mine is non-alcoholic.
All right, but seriously, we really thank you for joining us tonight. We hope you found it entertaining, and we'll be back here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We thank you. The audience has grown dramatically. This is our 9th week of It's Happening Out, America's most popular live gay talk show. So, on behalf of Power Infinity,
good night, children,
and Aaron Phoenix,
Good night, gender fuckers.
and Napoleon Plays,
Good night, Ellen DeGeneres. I can't wait to dance with you.
and Joe Brookman.
It is all about family.
And my name is Al Ferguson, and I just want to say to you, gay culture is important. And if it's interesting to you in our gay community, remember, it's happening out. Good night, America, and thank you.